Hey guys, I wanted to pop on and have a little bit of a chat surrounding the prompt that I posted in the group yesterday around how we define or interpret our version of conscious sexuality. So I'm going to give you a bit of my own perspective, and I would actually love to hear from you surrounding, well, how do you interpret, how do you experience your personal version of conscious sexuality? So I see sexuality first and foremost as a portal in many ways. So a portal to our innate bliss, so to our capacity to feel pleasure, that each of us has this ability to feel. We were born in a body with all of these pleasurable areas, right? So why not access this? Why not benefit from all of the pleasure and goodness that can come? We experience a lot of healing when we access these areas, and we can have physical healing, emotional healing, energetic healing. It's all a fabulous thing. And so we have access to this beautiful tool. Why not use it? And so another way that I see sexuality as a portal is as a way to connect to our personal and collective expression. So expression of our most expanded selves, the expression of our emotions, of our love. I see it as a connection to, as a portal, to our personal and collective sense of connection. So the connection to our body, to our pleasure, to ourselves, as well as to other and others. I see it as a means of accessing our subconscious. So our sexuality, as you know, has been suppressed over the years, right? Especially with women. And I love how my mentor, Layla Martin, has recently said that, you know, in the 60s, we experienced a sexual revolution. And now we are at a point where we are internalizing this aspect, and we're really looking at what's going on inside of us, emotion-wise, healing-wise, biologically, what's going on that is different from that. And I think it's a beautiful thing to be experiencing this and really connecting with it. And I see it as a way to, I guess, start to work with all these areas that did get suppressed. So all of the areas that got hidden down over time. So all the places that are enjoyable, that are desires and everything that we may have wanted, that as they're being suppressed came with, you know, the typical thing that we see now, which is guilt. And now we feel shame over it because that's what we were taught. Sex is bad, sex is a sin, we don't talk about it. And so now we carry all these aspects, and they're all there no matter how sexually expressed you are, no matter how sexually experienced we are. We all carry within our system these layers of guilt, of shame, of I'm not being sure, because we're just starting to like open up like a flower within our internal sexuality. And I think it's a beautiful thing. So this is really gorgeous. As difficult as it might be, it's also such a beautiful time to be alive. I actually see sexuality as access to our creative genius. So as we connect to our sexual energy, we gain access to that part of us that existed, that spark, that life, that soul that has always been there, that is underneath all those layers of family and societal conditioning. And so we get access to this. And as we get access to this, the more we kind of peel off the layers, the more we start to work with what's going on an emotional and psychological level, we get access to this creative genius, that that spark that is connected to all. I see it as the source of our power. When we start to work with sexual energy, we gain a confidence, a sense of agency, a sense of being powerful, which is why it got suppressed in the first place, right? If you want to control society, what better way than to control its power and its sexuality? The last thing I wanted to mention is that it is the access to original essence. So this is what I mentioned before. It really is the access to this original spark, our life, our vitality. This is what sexuality really means to me. So aside from all of the sexuality aspects and the biological reasons for having sexuality, which is obviously procreation, what does being conscious mean? So what is this consciousness aspect that goes with sexuality? And so my interpretation and my perception of consciousness is being in an awakened state. So being very present in the moment and aiming for expansion and aiming for a teaching or a learning and a betterment of self. So the aspect of conscious sexuality means not using sexuality simply as a means of diversion or distraction, if you will, and to be very, very present with everything that comes up, including the negative aspects, including the emotions, including the rage, the crying, and the amazingness, or even the too muchness that can come with sexuality, being present with all of it, including its growth. And so being conscious to me is the way that we're going at the moment. I can't tell you how many times I've encountered people who have been going around in either the swinger scene or some kind of sexual regrouping and have started to express that they're sick of the disconnection. So they're sick of this, of sexuality just being there as a diversion, as like a sense of amusement, if you will, but there's a disconnect with all of it's happening. And this is where consciousness is coming back into this aspect of sexuality of, we all know there's a lot more to it than that. There's so much depth there. There's so much learning. There's so much growth. There's so much access to our deeper selves, but we have to be willing to go there, right? If we keep just using it as an avoidance technique, then it becomes a distraction. It becomes a way to not feel the intensities that come around with it. But when we're conscious, we feel it all. When we're conscious, we are present with everything that is there. We're willing to face it. We're willing to help others face it. We're willing to go there all the way. And this is, for me, what consciousness means with sexuality. It's why I'm here with you. It's why I created the container that I've created, so that we don't just touch upon sexuality as the means to pleasure, or as the means to entertainment, if you will. We use it as a means of growth, as a means of personal development, really depth of personal development, and access to our body, of being present in who we are, being present in our body and who we are at our most fabulous form of expression. This is super important, and I would actually love to hear your take on this. How do you experience your consciousness?